This set of examples, we're given sequences and we're asked to write the recursive formula for them. So what we have to do for each of these is identify the first term, which is going to be pretty easy because it's given there. Then we have to determine how you get from one term to the next. So this one, if we treat it as addition, 2 plus 2 gets us 4, 4 plus 2 doesn't get us 8. So it's definitely not constant addition, so it's not an arithmetic sequence. So let's consider multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 16 times 2. You can see it's growing through constant multiplication of 2. So that tells us we have a geometric sequence. So I'm going to write that R is 2 because it's a constant ratio. So the recursive formula for this is going to say a sub 1, our first term is 2, and our new term is the previous term multiplied by 2. So 2 times the previous term. Again, you could have said a sub n minus 1, the previous term, times 2. There would be nothing wrong with that. Either way you want to write this, that's good. So there's the there's the recursive formula for that sequence 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. If you wanted to write it in one line, you could. You could write a sub 1 is 2, comma, a sub n is a sub n minus 1 times 2. You could write it that way. There's nothing wrong with giving the answer that way. So let's move to the second example. We already know our first term. We can say a sub 1 is 90. And then we have to figure out, how does this sequence go? How do we take a previous term and make the new term? Well, I'm thinking that division should stand out to you to tell you, those fractions should stand out to you to make it quite apparent that it's division we're looking at. And 90 divided by 3 is 30, 30 divided by 3 is 10, 10 divided by 3 is 10 thirds. Yeah, so it is division. So you could write it as the new term is the previous term divided by 3. There it is. That would be a recursive formula for this sequence. You could also write that as times 1/3, the previous term times 1/3. So if you were to write it in one line, you would say the first term is 90, and then you would say the new term is 1/3 times the previous term. That would be another way to write the recursive formula for this. I tend to like writing them stacked. I think it visually looks better than this. You do whatever you want. Our last example that I'm going to go through on this video, the last one, we can start it off right now and say the first term is 14. We can see the first term is 14. Now how do we get from one to the next? Well, 14 times something to get 26? No thank you. I'm thinking it's probably addition. So I add 12. 14 plus 12 is 26. If I add 12, 26 plus 12 is 38. 38 plus 12. So this one has a constant difference of 12. So that means I'm going to be adding 12 to the previous term. So a sub n, any term, is the previous term plus 12. There it is. And likewise, you could say a sub 1 is 14, comma, a sub n is a sub n minus 1. Any term is the previous term plus 12. If you wanted to write it in one line, nothing. They're both recursive.